My hands shook as I opened the door to my car. I was trembling with a mix of anticipation, fear, desire, and guilt. I was about to cheat on my husband Graham for the first time. All my life, I had been a loyal and faithful partner in relationships, first as a girlfriend to 3 men who all cheated on me, and then with Graham, the love of my life for the past 22 years. In all our time together, not once did I suspect Graham of infidelity, and never had I even considered it as a possibility for me. Until I met Roger. It began shortly after our youngest child, Maggie, left home for college. Graham was a workaholic and spent increased time at the office and on business trips. To combat my boredom, I got a job at an insurance company. The duties were mundane and the pay low, but it got me out of our empty house. Roger was a stunningly good-looking underwriter, with a body that clearly indicated he worked out daily, piercing blue eyes that seemed to know your deepest desires, and rugged, manly charisma that instantly made me start to tingle in places I had not tingled in a long time. I would melt whenever he was near. At first, the flirtation was one-sided, but soon I found myself responding and flirting back. I had no intention of it ever turning into anything more. I was happily married. Graham and I had not had sex in more than 6 months, but marriage is not just about sex. Graham was my partner and the person I intended to grow old with. I knew what it felt like to be cheated on by someone you love, and I was determined to never do that to Graham. Unfortunately, our bodies and desires have a way of overpowering our logical, rational minds. We started having lunch together, daily. We would talk about everything, but often Roger would lead the conversation to sex. I found myself opening up to this man I barely knew in ways I never could with my own husband. I even told him my secret fantasies and darkest desires. At Roger's prompting, I would go home and try his suggestions out on Graham. Graham was surprised by my amorous attention, but our sex life resumed and quickly improved. Little did he know that the next day, I would be describing everything to Roger in erotic detail. Roger wanted to hear everything I did and everything I felt. I would get extremely aroused telling Roger about it. At one long lunch, I described a very heated encounter the night before where Graham had come inside me then ate me out, which had been one of Roger's ideas. Roger and I were huddled in a booth like the lovers we were not. He told me how turned on he was from hearing about it and asked if I was as well. I was wearing a skirt and confessed I was worried that there would be a wet spot on the back when I stood up. Roger put my hand on his cock, and when I felt it, thick, hard and full, I wanted it. We began making out passionately, and all my reluctance melted away. Roger asked if I wanted to get a hotel room and I shook my head, smiling. We drove separately, and as I sat in the parking lot, my mind went to Graham. I felt guilty. I was about to back out and leave when I looked up to see Roger smiling with desire. I put my hand on the handle and pulled. An hour later, I was straddling Roger. His thick cock was deeply embedded in my womb, and I was grinding my hips hard. I tossed my head back and experienced my third orgasm. My pussy spasmed around Roger's shaft and he groaned. I felt his cock swell. The hot flow of his cum shooting inside me immediately triggered a secondary orgasm. 4 hours later, I drove home and found a moving van in front of our house. I parked and ran over to stop them, frantic to find out what was going on. The man in charge handed me a large envelope from Graham. I opened it with trembling hands and pulled out an 8-inch by 10-inch photograph of me riding Roger's cock that afternoon. A post-it note was affixed that read, "Contacted a lawyer. Suggest you do too. Goodbye. Graham." What could have got better for this story? Comment down below in the comments. Also share your feedback in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that we stay motivated. Go ahead and listen to the next story, which has the perfect ending added to it.